Hey everyone, hope you are all doing well and welcome back to another video on New World. As many of us are now starting to hit the mid-game, I wanted to cover one of the most effective levelling methods currently available, and that is corrupted portals. You won't actually have seen any of these at launch, as they take a few days before they start to spawn into the world, but they are now starting to rapidly appear in regions such as Weaver's Fen and hopefully starting to push into Restless Shore a little bit shortly as well. You can actually tell how rapidly the portals are going to be spawning in a region by looking at the little sort of red Y symbols basically. They're beneath the town names and they sort of go from 0 up to 3, with 3 basically representing rapid portal spawning. And these are the sort of regions you want to be targeting. They need to be spawning fast. You need to be able to run these quickly for it to be worthwhile. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of each portal type, as I already have a much more detailed corrupted portals guide, and I want to keep this video fairly short and just about the levelling. But essentially, there are 2 types of portals in New World: small portals and large portals. You can, at the appropriate level, solo the small portals, whereas the bigger portals do absolutely need a group. In reality, however, to make these an effective levelling method, you will need a group, as it is all about speed, and the XP rewards you're going to be getting from this are exactly the same if you run them solo or if you run them in a 50-man group. Which leads to my second point though: you don't need a group of friends. You can actually see from my footage there are loads of randoms running through this because it's such an effective levelling method, and so you can always just tag along with one of these groups. So how do we get XP from these portals? Because there's actually a few key bits to know. Firstly, you only actually need to be getting a few hits in for it to count. You don't need to get the kills, and you absolutely don't need to be the one to close the portal, despite the fact everyone seems completely obsessed with mad spamming to get their staff to activate the portal. But the XP is exactly the same if you close the portal with your Azoth staff or if you just get a few hits on the monsters. However, it's not really the direct XP from closing the portals that is the main levelling method here. Although, don't get me wrong, it's still very decent. It's actually the levelling up of your territory standing that gives you the really big bonuses. Because for each territory standing level, you're going to be getting a good chunk of XP as you get to the higher territory levels. And as you get to the high levels, this is going to be 3, 4, 5,000 XP per level, so you can really start to get you leveled up fast, which is why we're seeing so many people running these portals. A few key tips for these. If the group running between the portals starts to get very large, then you may start to have issues actually getting, any hits at all on the enemies. And you do need to secure a few hits for your contribution to count and for you to get the rewards for completing the portal. The easiest way around this that I've found is just to find a random life staff. It doesn't need to be a good life staff or your primary weapon or anything like that, just a random one will do, as a life staff will hit through other players and still damage the enemies on the other side, so it makes it far easier to get hits on the enemies. Second tip: watch out for the monsters' attributes. They'll have a little description above their heads. Maybe it'll say armoured, maybe shattering, but the one to really watch out for is explosive. Once the monster dies, it basically has a 1 or 2 second cooldown before it explodes, and it will do a really good chunk of damage to anyone in its radius. This is particularly important though if you're a little bit underleveled for the area, as they then can start to one-shot you. Finally, this is also a really good way of getting Azoth. Plus you'll be getting a corrupted cache for each portal you close, so it can give you some pretty decent gear drops as well. But anyway, I wanted to keep this video pretty short, so I'll end it here. But if you do have any further questions about these corrupted portals, then please throw them in the comments down below. Lots more New World content on the way, so do be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next video.